While national efforts to end the use of chimpanzees in invasive research are underway, did you know that there is already a law that could permanently retire hundreds of chimpanzees from laboratories right now? The Chimpanzee Health Improvement Maintenance and Protection Act, the CHIMP Act, was passed in 2000 to retire government-owned or supported chimpanzees who are not needed in research. Yet, only a fraction of chimpanzees that should be eligible have been retired under the Act, despite the fact that 80 to 90% of the estimated 900 chimpanzees held in U.S. labs are not being used in research, and that the Institute of Medicine's 2011 study did not identify any area of research in which chimpanzee use is critical. The time is long overdue for the government to set and follow clear criteria for when chimpanzees in labs must be retired under the CHIMP Act. Recently, NIEVS and other organizations, including the North American Primate Sanctuary Alliance and CHIMP Act co-sponsor, former Senator Bob Smith, submitted a rulemaking petition to the U.S. government outlining retirement criteria that should be enforced. For example, we believe that the government should retire chimpanzees who have not been assigned to a research protocol in 10 years. Let's take a minute to meet Pepper, who spent 27 years in 3 different labs. Once rescued by Fauna Sanctuary, she spent the last 15 years of her life enjoying the outdoors, enjoying her chimpanzee family, building night nests out of soft blankets, and enjoying a variety of different daily activities. Getting out of the lab before it was too late meant a world of difference to Pepper. We believe that the government should retire chimpanzees being held for research for which chimpanzees have been determined to be unnecessary. Chimpanzees are not needed in HIV, AIDS, cancer, hepatitis C, genomics, malaria, drug development, biodefense, monoclonal antibodies, and other studies. Meet Billy, who, like Pepper, was retired from a private lab to Fauna Sanctuary. Billy had been infected with HIV and endured countless knockdowns by dart gun. He endured dozens of biopsies, and he endured living alone for 14 years in a 5 by 5 by 7 foot cage, smaller than a closet, a practice that, even if uncommon, is still legal. The United States government funnels millions of tax dollars every year to keep chimps in labs, despite the fact that other research methods are far more effective in understanding, treating, and preventing human illnesses, despite the fact that chimpanzee use does not and will not work. By 2008, for example, 85 different HIV vaccines had been shown to be safe and effective when tested on chimpanzees and monkeys, but subsequently, all of them failed to protect humans in almost 200 clinical trials involving thousands of humans, in spite of so-called successful trials in chimpanzees. We believe that the government should retire elderly chimpanzees. An estimated 300 chimpanzees in U.S. labs right now are elderly. Most of the elderly chimpanzees have been in a lab for 30, 40, even 50 years. Can you imagine? Keeping chimpanzees in labs for decades when they could and should be retired to sanctuary is cruel and unconscionable. The government should retire chimpanzees with chronic, severe, or multiple physical illnesses. NIEVS conducted a review of the autopsies of chimpanzees in or from research. Our study revealed that chimpanzees had been held in labs even though their autopsy records indicated that they had been suffering from multi-organ diseases, had do not resuscitate orders in their medical records, or had been diagnosed with terminal illnesses months, even years, before their deaths. We also believe that chimpanzees suffering extreme psychological trauma from life and use in a lab should be retired immediately. In addition to its devastating effects on the chimpanzees, stress adversely affects chimpanzee suitability as research subjects and leads to even further erroneous results. Like Pepper, Jeannie was in multiple labs and multiple research protocols, beginning when she was a very young child. Finally, after 7 years in her last lab, personnel documented that she suffered a nervous breakdown. No longer of use to the lab, she was to be euthanized. Fortunately, Jeannie was instead rescued by Fauna Sanctuary. She spent her remaining years recovering, finally able to look forward to every day. While Neves and our co-petitioners believe that no chimpanzee should be used in research, our U.S. government Secretary of Health and Human Services already has the authority to issue criteria for determining when a chimpanzee is not needed for federally funded research and therefore trigger the retirement of hundreds of chimpanzees to Sanctuary right now. Please visit releasechimps.org to find out more. The decision to retire chimpanzees can no longer be left in the self-interested hands of laboratory directors. It's time to make sure that the Chimp Act does what it is supposed to do.